You want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, real, real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now, I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out. Whenever you see me, don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat? Well, hello. Happy Sunday. And what a fine Sunday it is. Oh my God. Yes. Well, I was on my phone because I was trying to find the date. Okay, today's the 25th. So right along with another day, that the bombing of Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy. Is this August? Jesus, I don't even know what month this is. Yes. August 24th is also a day that will live in infamy. Fuck you, Betty. Oh God, it couldn't happen to a nicer bitch. Before I get on to the part of the program where I'm going, listen, y'all, I appreciate anybody who's here. I know that everybody and their brother is live right now. And I think a lot of people have been on since this happened last night or yesterday at the end of the afternoon. In another interesting, ironic twist, it actually kind of reminds me of an old school Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon. Like Betty has to do these, well, I call them telethons because that's what they are. She's a broke bitch who has no job, and she relies on the generosity. She relies on the kindness of strangers. Bitch, you'd still be waiting for the bus if you were relying on the kindness of strangers. Yeah. But it's kind of that's what it reminds me of. Like everybody who hates this bitch's guts. And when I say hate, I don't mean it in the literal sense because let's face it, she's not important enough to hate for most of us. There are some people who can lay legit claim to hate. And before I try and bring the funny to entertain you at Betty's expense, I would like to say, in all sincerity, to Chris and Katie, I truly hope. I think you all have shown a lot of class and grace through this entire what I can only assume is an abject nightmare for not only the two of you, and his Sebastian's father, even though he is in Bullhorn Betty's camp. But aside from that, I'm going to assume that he does indeed love his son. And, while I don't think he is, I think it's gross that he wants to sit at the left hand of one of Satan's disciples, Bullscorn Betty. But be that as it may, he still has a missing child. But he's chosen that drama. For Chris and Katie, the Bowersox, and all of Sebastian's extended family who love him and miss him and want nothing more than for him to come home. And don't we think that if those people thought there was even the remotest chance that Bullskank Betty could make that happen, do we not think that they would have run to her? That bitch has never found anyone. Period. End of story. So for all of those people, they have absolute 100% legitimate right to hate that bitch and to I hope they are enjoying every moment that bitch has been muzzled by the criminal justice system. And Queen Bee as well. When I found this out last night, I had actually been on the panel not too long before this happened. I'm like, damn girl, you've got the worst timing ever. I did text her, and it was just nothing but laughing emojis. And I said something like, girl, enjoy this, because nobody more than you and the people I just mentioned deserve this more. Deserve to, savor every moment of it. So now that that's out of the way, fuck you, Betty. Have y'all seen my community post? I think I'll put it up because I'm rather proud of it. And I miss probably 95% of all community posts, because first of all, a lot of times I'm on my iPad and they show up differently. And even when I'm on my phone, I'll see like maybe one or two community posts, and then you have to click that button that says view all posts. Well, mostly I just, I blow right past that. So I miss a lot of posts. So I thought, well, I'll share with the class just in case, in case you missed it. All right. Speaking of the class, let me say hello. And thank you all for being here, because honestly, I get it. Everybody is live about this. Can you imagine? Number one, the poor bastard, the deputy that had to take the Raging Bull from the first county she was arrested in into the Sumner County that, oh my goodness, put warrants out on her. Oh, Crazy Nurse told me that poor Mike Stevens is out there grieving the loss of dear leader. Well, Mike, why don't you put your house up for her bond? That's what you can do to show her how much you really love her. Oh, fuck her. I guess we'll find out if my supposition regarding why broke, busted up Betty has not paid her property taxes for the whopping amount of $650 some odd dollars. I've always thought, what kind of a dumbass moron does not pay their property tax? That is a pittance. Bitch, you want to see something? Do you see these shoes, Betty? These shoes cost more than your property tax. And yes, I am embarrassed and ashamed to admit that. But I did get them on sale. Okay, so retail value of the shoes is still more than your property tax. I just didn't pay the full price. I waited until they went on sale. I have a size that's not very common, and if they were gone, well, it just wasn't meant to be. It was a chance I was willing to take. But that's a fucking pair of shoes, not the thing, not the roof that's over my head. So my belief has always been, well, why would you not pay your property taxes? Well, perhaps if you were in foreclosure, or, maybe you weren't in foreclosure yet, but you just hadn't been paying your mortgage. And I know, but wait, Lisa, Betty lives the glamorous life. And as such, she doesn't have a mortgage on her house. And to Betty's ex-husband, who gave her that house, oh, sir, I am. That one, that must sting. And I'm sorry about that. It's very unfortunate that you did not seek legal counsel, because you didn't have to do that. In Florida, if he got the house prior to marriage, she would have been fucked. She would have been able to lay no claim to that house unless he put her name on it after the marriage, or he acquired it during the marriage. If he came to the marriage with that house paid for, free and clear, he didn't have to give her probably anything as far as that asset is concerned. But even if they acquired it together, 50% of the equity would have been what he would have, had to pay her. So yeah, sir, that was a very bad move on your part. And I'm sorry for that. But back to bitch hole Betty. Yeah. If you were not, the only reason I could come up with that someone would let such a pittance go unpaid and then have your tax lien sold to a third party. Well, I know she's very busy. Could it be that? Could it be that she's just so buried in work? Yeah, no, she doesn't have a fucking job. Being an internet terrorist is not a job. Betty, I don't know what job you can get. Perhaps mowing lawns, but not with a company like True Green or anything like that. No. Maybe the guy who's got a pickup truck and just puts a couple of magnetic signs and throws a lawnmower and a weed whacker in the back and calls it a company. Perhaps you could get hired on with a lawn service such as that. But yeah, you don't exactly look like, she looks like she definitely plays. She's a team player for sure. I know this is pesky arrest number what are we up to now? 7, 8, 9, 10, 27. I don't fucking know. Too many. I don't know any. I do not have any grown adult friends nor family who's out getting fucking arrested. But if Bets took perhaps a HELOC out on her house, a house that I cannot imagine is worth very much. Okay. I've seen her house from the outside. I know the general area where she lives. There's a reason her taxes are only $650 some odd. So if perhaps she took a HELOC out on the house, a home equity line of credit, which if she owned it outright, even if her credit was in the toilet, I don't know which is higher, her IQ or her FICO score. Probably her FICO score. But if you owned it 100%, if it was all equity, well, they would probably give her a HELOC. Well, if you don't pay back the HELOC under the terms of the HELOC, well, then the bank forecloses. They take your house. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying it's the only thing I could come up with that would explain why a fucking Mensa such as herself would not pay her property taxes. And this isn't the first time that the fucking dumbass has not paid her property taxes. So, when I said we're probably going to find out if she's still got a house that's able to be put up as collateral, well, that's because my understanding is her bond is $20,000. I have to say, I was surprised. God dang, is my Botox working? I felt like my eyebrows just went up. They should not. If y'all see any movement from here up, you let me know, because I just got a face full on Friday, and sometimes it takes a minute for it to fully take effect. God, wouldn't it be, Betty, girl, I will buy you Botox, but it's going to need to go all around your mouth and in your tongue. And only if the doctor says that would be an effective way to get you to shut the fuck up. Actually, if her subs were smart, hey, Sonia, are you over there firing up the cricket? Is Sonia busy making free bull skank Betty? Can you imagine Betty, the deputy that had to take her from one county to the next? And I'm sorry, I don't know the names of the counties. I know Sumner. I don't know the name of the county that first took possession of the bull scorn. Can you imagine Betty in the back of the cop car doing her whole fucking Norma Ray speech, Karen Silkwood? I mean, we're getting ready to meet Martyr Betty. I swear to God, some of the fucking dimmest bulbs in the chandelier, kind of like the gorgeous one I'm looking at, they seem to inhabit this particular neighborhood of YouTube. And yes, I do have a quote from one of them. And I have a response, because I was kind of like listening from the bushes this morning over at QB's. And I didn't have time, and I was on my phone. Y'all, for me to really let loose, I need a full keyboard. I try to voice text. That dumbass does not ever understand me. I don't know why. I tell Siri all the time, bitch, you are fired. But yes, I have a response that I jotted down to. Brittany was her name. Now I don't know if it's Brittany J, who, yeah, I definitely wouldn't consider her a real bright bulb in the chandelier. And apparently she's got Brittany, go sit next to Mike Stevens. He could probably use your prayers and your kind words right now. I'm not known for that, and I'm definitely not going to be I'm not going to be passing any of that out. As a matter of fact, you will see in my community post that I'm going to pull up and share with the class. I'm looking at the other bottle right now. I am very much the next live stream, which I think will be tomorrow afternoon. We're going to pop a collective bottle of Veuve Clicquot and toast dumbass Betty and the auspicious day that shall live in infamy in the Krama history books. It's kind of ironic, because I would say there's more than a few rolling around these parts that probably reading, kind of like Betty. Betty has to she has to read out loud. Like when she's reading her chat, hi, Betty. I just wanted to tell you that you are a dumbass bag of shit. Well, fuck you. Fuck you. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. It is a privilege to be in the Bullhorn Betty chat, and you need to have some skin in the game. Work for it. When's the last time you worked, bitch? And I don't mean... Do y'all think that maybe Betty's video quality was so bad yesterday? Wasn't she riding with Tic Tac Tony in the truck, and she was getting, she was like Bullhorn Spielberg? Not really. I thought, why is that footage so bad? And I don't mean grainy, because I know out in those parts, the internet reception, sometimes it's not good. But I was getting kind of seasick watching it. And I thought to myself, oh, wait a minute. Self? Could it be that maybe Betty's on her knees? And that's why maybe she, the last time she seemed to be in a car with a man, just saying, maybe she thought she was going around the back and going to the dumpster in the Chili's parking lot. I don't know. But that could account for the fact that the footage made me seasick. Fuck you, Betty. Oh, God, I'm enjoying this. But I did say that I was going to pop a bottle. The reason I'm not doing it right now, aside from the fact that, oh, hell, it's 12 o'clock. Well, damn it. Honestly, the only reason I'm not doing it now is because I did not have time to go to the store and get it chilled. And you don't put ice cubes in champagne. At least I don't. Not until I've gotten down to like that much of the bottle. And the only thing left is the dregs. And by then, I'm probably not feeling a lot of pain. So yeah, I'll take out of the crystal ice bucket. Yeah, I'll take one of those partially melted cubes and plop, throw it in there. So I will go today at some point. I will grab a lovely bottle of Veuve, and I will get it chilled to the perfect temperature. And tomorrow we will toast the Bull Skank. Well, no, not her, because fuck her. No, we'll toast the fact that she's finally starting to see what I am very much hoping is the first in a long, oh no, this would be the second in a long line of upcoming no good, terrible, horrible, very bad days. One can only hope. Did y'all like my thumbnail? The soundtrack of Betty's life. I wish I could have fit all the songs I had in my head for the soundtrack of Betty's life. I was really torn between the one I used, I Fought the Law, and the Law Won, and what should be Betty's anthem, the Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes. Now, the third one, I was like, Carly Simon, You're So Vain. But she's not vain. She has no fucking pride. She's just, there's a difference between being vain and being an ugly, poorly spoken tyrant. So, Carly's out. Feel free to put your soundtrack choices for Betty's life. If Betty's shitty, unaccomplished, miserable life became, let's say, a Broadway play, tell me what would be the theme song. I can't wait to see this, because y'all are probably more clever than me. All right. Hi, Clancy. Clancy, when you go to church, say a prayer for Betty. No, actually, you know what? Fuck that. No, there's no prayer that's going to work for her. Say a prayer for all the people that Betty has traumatized throughout the years. Okay. Hi, Lindsay. How are you? Hey, Brittany. Oh, I hope you're feeling better. Hi, Kay. Ooh, Kay. Are you from the UP? Where's my hair pony? The hell did I do? Oh, there it is. I have never been to the UP, but I had some friends that had a house there when I was, growing up. My mom used to go. I've never been, but she says it's absolutely gorgeous. Hi, TLC. How are you, Becca? Well, good morning, Hippieporium. It's nice to see you. Little Irish girl, how are you? Cynthia, happy Sunday. Hey, Bullseye. Oh, don't you worry. Everyone is partying. Yes. Can you imagine what the poor switchboard operator in the lockup, imagine how many calls they've gotten. And they are all sitting back and they're going, whether it's the people that are on shift with them when these calls have been coming in since yesterday and are still no doubt going. So the people that are on shift now, the people that are going to talk to the people on shift now who are coming in for shift change, they are all sitting back and they are saying, what in the actual fuck is going on here? Who is this bitch? Who? What the fuck is a Bullhorn Betty? I mean, she's just like every other scumbag we've got in here. Why are all these people so interested in this? Well, the answer to that question in small part is because, she's mean as a snake. She needs to, the only item of clothing she should be wearing is a jacket. It unfortunately it usually only comes in one color and it's not her color. But damn, orange is really not her color. And you need a little help getting in the jacket. And unfortunately, it's not real functional. It definitely restricts one's movement. Yeah. It's just, I cannot even imagine what these people have to be thinking as to what this woman's deal is and why do so many people care. Because truly, that is the absolute truth of the matter. She's no different than any other dirtbag who finds themselves in there. She's just not as nice. Oh, Betty, 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 Betty. Hey, Kelly, how are you? I am fantastic. Ooh, Lightning Viper. I think that's a new name. Welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. And all joking aside, Betty's a bag of shit. She is an absolute bag of shit who takes great joy in inserting herself into other people's tragedies, and not even just tragedies, but situations. She appears to have many mental issues, and rather than dealing with those like a big girl, and having a little bit of self-awareness and finding out, why do I do these things? Because I don't see a bunch of other well-adjusted, normal, even remotely accomplished, and let's manage our expectations. When I say accomplished, all I mean by that is just a normal citizen. Like, you have a job, you pay your taxes, and you don't go out of your way to make other people's lives miserable that you've never met and fucking know nothing about. So, yeah, fuck her. And trust me, as many times as this bitch has been arrested, do you think she cares about this? The only thing she cares about right now, what is killing her, I promise you, is having to put the YouTube down. Her forced sabbatical, her forced log off boo-boo break. Yeah, that's what's killing her. I mean, let's face it. Jail is likely much cleaner than her house. God knows she's wearing pants finally. Orange is not her color, but no color is her color. So who cares? But yeah, she can do this standing on her head. She's very familiar with holding cells. And you know, the one upside that may come from this, they may be able to get that very unfortunate, itchy problem that she has. They may be able to help her deal with that. Oh. Hey, veteran, how are you? Oh, well, I appreciate that. I like to tell Betty about herself. Hi, Sheba Mom. How are you doing? Poco Sue, happy Sunday. Hey, Chopper, how are you? Oh. Where's the lawyer? Where is the lawyer? And yes, I've seen pictures of the so-called receipt. That means nothing to me. And I don't believe there's a lawyer. If there is, she needs to fire them, because if they have given her the advice that if they advised her to do all of the things that she has done in this last week, well, yeah, that I don't believe that. I do not believe that at all. Period. End of story. And I'm sorry, one of the unfortunate side effects of being a prolific fucking liar is you could be telling the gospel truth and people don't believe you. So do I believe the receipts that I've seen? No. I'll believe it when I see a notice of appearance. It's very interesting. Like, why? How come nobody's seen that? That's mandatory. An attorney that comes on to represent a client in a case, or in her case, multiple cases, they'd be filing a notice of appearance with the court. So that screenshot of an alleged $2,500 receipt means fucking exactly that much to me. I mean, that could be letterhead from a legit law firm, and I'm assuming that is a real law firm. I just don't believe that Betty is the client. That's what I don't believe. And I would say that, and it's because it defies logic. It's not just because the person spewing the assertions is a prolific liar. It's not just that. It's because it doesn't make any sense based on what I know. And unlike Betty, I have a real legal education that came from a state school, not an unaccredited finance company. So I don't believe it. I would say the only people who believe it are Betty's followers. And I think that's what I'm going to call them from now on, because to me, that is what her subs, they are followers, just like Jim Jones had followers, just like the guy from Heaven's Gate had followers. And much like those two aforementioned cult leaders, not, at least they were, Jim Jones could be very charismatic, fairly well spoken. I don't know much about the Heaven's Gate guy. Betty is none of those things. I don't get it. She's not attractive. She's not well spoken. She's not nice. She's not charismatic. She's just a fucking raging bitch who has an internet connection and too much time on her hands. That's what she is. That's it. That's all. And I would be embarrassed to say that I was a follower of hers. I mean, she doesn't like being called a criminal. Bitch, you are a criminal. You've got to fucking, people like to say that her arrest record looks like a CVS receipt, and she's not been arrested 42 times. She's had 42 interactions, 42 entries on the docket, actually more at this point, but you know, after like, I don't know, 2, who's fucking counting? What difference does it make? But it looks more like a grocery sheet, grocery receipt to me. But yeah, she offers nothing except anger. You want to watch an ugly woman with a fucking uglier heart and no soul scream at you. She is the most fucking negative person I've ever crossed paths with. And I hope never to cross paths with her in real life. I would run as fast and as far as I could to avoid crossing paths with her in real life. So, I mean, what do you want to be called? You think it's like defamation to call you a criminal? Well, there's a criminal and a civil docket that says otherwise. But she's an angry, negative bitch who does nothing but talk shit about everybody. And unless you have the fucking IQ of this duck or Betty, I don't know how you believe any of the shit she says. As she likes to say, the proof is in the pudding. Well, what the pudding tells me is you haven't had a real job in fucking years, because let's face it, who's going to hire you? Who is going to hire you? It would be one thing if you had this dazzling, charismatic personality and you could sell ice to an Eskimo. No, not so much. So there's that. She is none of the things she holds herself out to be. None of them. She's a journalist who can't fucking speak and write in proper English. So I don't get it. You guys should be fucking embarrassed. And Sonia, if that fucking dumb t-shirt she was wearing, if that's your company, like, do you do anything else besides attire for pimps? I mean, you got to up this game, Sonia. I haven't seen one t-shirt that you've done that would make you stand out from anybody else. My fucking thumbnails for my lives are, well, let's just say you better hope I don't decide to open up a t-shirt company and, well, you wouldn't be competition for me, but like, I mean, and let's not forget, apparel. Well, that's kind of my jam. Yeah. You should go back to the drawing board, honey. And if it was my BFF who found herself in these unfortunate circumstances due to no one's fault but her own, well, I can promise you my t-shirt would put your t-shirt to fucking shame. Yeah, save it, Sonia. You're a shitbag too. You should be embarrassed for supporting that bag of shit. And don't worry, Sonia. You will find yourself on the receiving end of her fury. And I know she treats all her mods like indentured servants. She wants you to do the work. My understanding is she never utters the word thank you. And I know she doesn't ever recognize you all for your birthdays or any holidays. Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get the draw. And you're over there begging for money to bail Betty out. How fucking pathetic. She is 44 years old. Oh, and 165 pounds at 5'2". Wow, Betty, that's and here you want everybody to think you're this little teeny tiny svelte thing. Yeah, Betty, you and I, we weigh the same. I'm 2 inches shorter and about 65 pounds lighter. And yes, everybody, if you don't like Betty being body shamed, well, fuck off. Go find another channel. Yes, I will shame her in any way I want. But see, the difference between me and Betty, I don't just walk up and like punch you in the face, or, I don't put my hands around your neck. I'm not going to show up in your driveway with a bullhorn. No, I'm just going to make fucking jokes at your expense. So all you bleeding hearts, like, let me get my glass. Damn it, they fell down. Okay. Actually, I'll just stand for a moment since I'm down here anyway. Yes, I do believe that this particular bleeding heart, her name was Brittany, and she was in QB's chat this morning, and she said, this is pretty close to a direct quote. Quote, "It's never funny to laugh at someone going to jail." Well, then don't laugh. But the fucking nerve it takes to go into someone's chat who the bitch has been frivolously suing for about a year and a half, who her only fucking legal strategy, because she's dumb as a fucking bag of hammers, okay? Her only legal strategy is copy, paste, GP, whatever the hell that thing is, the AI. So what she doesn't plagiarize from JLR, she gets AI to write for her. So about a year and a half, countless, I don't even know how much. It's not my business. If you want to donate, you donate. If you don't, you don't. And all the ones who want to scream about receipts and how much money, if you haven't donated, it shouldn't be, it's not your problem. Do you think I give 2 shits what Betty makes? No. As I said this morning, I wouldn't pay 2 cents to help her bail out of jail, but I would pay to help make sure she stayed in there. But yeah, so that's Betty's legal strategy. Plagiarize. Get AI to write whatever you don't lift from someone else. And basically her whole goal is financial capitulation, because it's all she has. So bury you or your attorney in paperwork. She's a fucking con. She thinks like all good con men think. So if you don't think it's funny to laugh at Betty going to jail, then don't laugh. But don't you dare tell me I can't laugh. Fuck her. I laugh at her every time I see her. She's a fucking mess. It's like the nerve of some of these people. And let's just hope you never find yourself on the receiving end of some fucking delusion that Betty's got swirling around up here. And then should you find yourself in that unfortunate position, well, then make sure you don't laugh if you happen to see her go to jail. Crazy Nurse, I'm going to finish saying hello. Do not let me forget to one of the messages you sent me this morning about what could have potentially drawn law enforcement's attention to bets in the first place. So don't let me forget to do that. I'm going to finish saying hello. Hey, laugh with me, Lily. How are you? Hey, Andy C. How are you? Happy Sunday. Yes, I don't know if I ever finished my earlier thought, but how pathetic as a 44-year-old woman, most people who have worked or even been somewhat remotely financially responsible, you don't typically at that age have to have a fucking telethon to raise a whopping $2,000. So with the bail, they'll have to come up with 2,000 cash, and I believe that's gone forever. See, I'm not fluent in bail like Betty is. But I believe you pay, if she's going to use a bail bondsman, it'll be $2K to the bondsman, and that's bye-bye. Thanks for playing. And they will have to put up a piece of collateral to secure the remaining bond. The 18, well, I guess it would be 20, wouldn't it? Because if the bondsman, it'll either be 18K or 20K that will have to be a secured bond. So the 2K, I think, is just like a service charge. Service charge, mwah, kiss it goodbye. But like I said, I'm not fluent in bail like Betty is. So yes, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to put the house up. And if Betty has equity in her house, well, then Betty should put her house up as collateral to secure the remaining part of the bond. If she does not, well, but I don't know. That's probably something I don't know if we get to see that. I don't know if that's public record. And really, I don't give a fuck. But it will be interesting to see how long it takes for her to get out. Hi, Zizi. How are you? Hey, Helen. How you doing? Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's like anybody who's feeling sorry for Betty, don't. She's quite familiar with a holding cell. She can do this standing on her head. And like I said, it's cleaner than her house, and the food is probably much healthier. I mean, I'm just guessing it's cleaner than her house. I've only seen her filthy, disgusting kitchen with, grease-soaked walls and, her bed. Ugh, gross. Hey, VK sir, how are you? Girl, I'm behind on the BHP news, and I'm okay with that. We got the basics down, though. Okay, I think we've now been brought. If there's anything that has broken aside, well, hold on, hold that thought until I mention what Crazy Nurse and I were, just speculating on this morning. Hey, Fit and Curvy, how are you? Me. Oh, Highway to Hell. Absolutely. Yes, that would describe, well, that's what happens every time Betty gets on the road. Can you imagine? Do you think they'll change the sign? When you're on the interstate and you cross over into another state and it says, welcome to Tennessee. Do you think it'll say, welcome to Tennessee? Bullhorn Betty, aka Andra Griffin, go the fuck home, bitch. We don't want you here. We don't want her in Florida either, but we don't get a choice. Oh, I'm a creep. There you go. That's a good one. Hey, Pink Stripe, how are you? Oh, God, absolutely. I knew you guys would come up with good ones. And hello, Bernadette. How are you? I love that. I love that. Hey, Lori Life 360. How are you? Hey, Kodo. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hi, Claire. I can't wait. My mother-in-law is coming over today. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a while, but my mother-in-law is either 83 or 84. I don't know that she's watching as much as she used to, but when back in the days when Benny Keys reigned supreme in Krama, my mother-in-law knew everybody. She was my biggest cheerleader. Like, she loves all of this. My mother knows Benny Keys, Ernie Shell, Bullhorn Betty, but I don't think she's been watching as much as she used to. Not anything in Krama, because she wasn't able to find my channel for some reason. She got a new TV and blah, blah, blah. And of course, I was supposed to mail her the link to my channel, quite a ways back, but I can't just send it to her. I have to send it to my sister-in-law, who then has to go over there and put it on the TV. But she knows who Betty is. And she's going to be here today. And I think you know what? I'm actually going to record it. I'm only going to do audio because I don't want to show her face. I'm going to turn it on. I'm actually writing myself a note. I want you to hear my mother-in-law's reaction. She can't fucking stand Betty either. Okay. Yes. When we have our board meeting of Tragedy Pimps Inc. this afternoon, I'm the registered agent. I hold the corporate minute book, so I'm going to be doing a little undercover audio recording. Don't tell the SEC on me, okay? Hey, Caribbean, how are you? Oh, yes, it's Krama's going crazy. I say this has been a long time coming. Couldn't happen to a nicer bitch. Hi, Elizabeth. Ah! I was going to say, I thought maybe they could help her with whatever her little itchy problem is, but oh goodness, she might be causing them yet another problem. Who knows? That's just wild speculation on our part. We have no idea what it is that's making Betty itch, but you know, there's only a handful of things that I would think are legitimate reasons that could cause you to constantly be itching. Hey, the oil farmer's wife, how are you? Let's be honest, how are you? Oh, I want to pull up my community post. You know what I'm going to do? I'm almost done saying hello. I'm going to get my community post. I'm going to put it on the screen so y'all can read it. Give myself a shameless plug. And while I do that, I'm going to go nuke my coffee. Sister Man Ray, hello. Oh, yes, I agree. It is ugly in every kind of way there is. Hi, Kayla. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hi, Catherine. Catherine, what do you think Heels in the Air thinks of all this? I think she's up there laughing. And girl, I'm gonna pop another bottle tomorrow and I will raise a toast to those who are no longer here, but I have no doubt would greatly enjoy this. Can you imagine the video she would make? Oh, it would be brilliant. I have no doubt about that. Hi, Angel. It is all in the poorest of taste. But that's what happens when you deal with people who have no class. They don't have that speed bump up here that people who have even a modicum of class or decorum. I mean, I just can't imagine being so classless and presumptuous as to think that you had the right. I mean, when I say the right, I don't mean the legal right, but morally. Like, these scumbags, they don't see anything wrong with it. I guarantee you, they do not see anything wrong with turning someone else's child into a cartoon and as a vehicle to grift money. And Betty saying that piece of shit shirt was $25. I looked into shirts because I was going to get a sublimation printer. and my cousin was supposed to help me because apparently she's, very like there's nothing she can't do on it. But she's got a lot going on with her family and she lives several hours away from me. It's not like she's around the corner. And that's one of those things where the way I learn, I have to have somebody like sitting with me saying, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I don't learn by watching YouTube videos. So, but I did have a store. I still hold a tax ID number. I know what good quality wholesale t-shirts cost. Those didn't look like good quality to me. And even the ones that I would have used, Sonia, listen, I'm all about people making a profit, but $25 for that piece of shit looking shirt. I mean, I can't touch it, but Sonia, do you use Bella and Canvas by any chance? And if so, which one do you use? Because, they are a good wholesale t-shirt company. The ones that I was going to use were going to be about, I want to say they were between $12 and $14, but they were not Hanes. They were not, is it Gildan or Gildan? Gildan. A lot of people use those. They're very boxy. They're kind of stiff. The neck, not flattering. And even if I had done those, I mean, I would not. I would have to charge for me to make all my money back. I mean, you're talking it turning into like between $30 and $40 t-shirt, which people will pay, but it's got to really be good quality. And what I saw Betty and Tony and Seth wearing, those look like Gildan t-shirts to me. And those are not, to me, those are not the kind of quality I'd put my name on. Let's just say that. But something tells me that Sonia's standards, they might not be as discerning as mine. Just saying. Angel, I said hi to you, didn't I? Hi again. I keep going off on these tangents. Hi, Lady K Talks. Oh, yes. Shame on all you people who Betty's terrorized. Shame on you for laughing. It's never funny. Really? Did you say that when fucking Ted Bundy got arrested? I mean, there was a lot of people. Speaking of that, I live in Florida. We're the state that fried that bastard. Yeah, back then we had old Sparky. We electrocuted you. When they came out to announce that at, such and such time, in accordance with the sentence of the state of Florida, the sentence was carried out and old Teddy was put to death. Of course, the fact that everybody in the very small town of Stark, Florida had a massive power surge at, 12:29. But by the way, in case you didn't get that large power surge, we have carried out the sentence of death as pronounced by the courts. There were people out there that were literally jumping up and down, cheering, yelling, signs with some very creative messages on them. Listen, I know Betty's not a serial killer, but there's a lot of people who have a lot of feelings about her, and she's done a lot of shitty things to people. So was it okay to laugh at Ted Bundy for the things he did, to laugh when he was put to death? Well, I don't know. I guess I would say if you weren't a victim of his, then shut the fuck up. And it's not up to you to tell anybody what they can or cannot laugh at, or should not laugh at. It's like, you people need to get in fucking reality. All this bullshit about, Oh my God, the YouTuber set her up. Really? Because my understanding is it's quite possible that Betty's dumb ass got her herself arrested. What? How could that? Did y'all just see my lights flicker? Is that you, Ted? Is Ted Bundy trying to send me a message? My damn light just flickered. Oh boy. Yeah, my understanding is Betty, being the fucking disgruntled, delusional, fucking mentally ill appearing bitch, saw somebody maybe named Cluminati, can't confirm, filming from a car in the parking lot of a public restaurant. Well, she didn't like that. So word on the street is it may very well be the case that that stupid bitch picked the phone up and called the cops, because that's the kind of dumbass Karen that she is. Betty is an atomic Karen. She's beyond a Karen. But if you're going to call her a Karen, call her an atomic Karen. She's like fucking Chernobyl. She's constantly having a reactor meltdown. And this, well, it looks like there was a nuclear meltdown that, happened on her head. That's Betty's Mr. Wizard home chemistry experiments gone wrong. So yeah, it's quite possible from what I understand. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's even probable. What I am saying is I wouldn't have one single problem believing it. That Betty picked up the phone to be the dumbass bitch that she is and said, they're out here. Someone's a hater from a Roach channel. By the way, I'm a world famous YouTuber. My name's Bullhorn Betty. Maybe you've heard of me. Oh, you haven't? Well, you're just obviously not going to the right places. But anyway, did I mention I'm a world famous YouTuber? Yeah. One of these hater channels or these Roach channels, they've been stalking me. They put a tracking device on my car. Yes, I did call the FBI when a troll, blank screen, he typed GRI. He didn't even get to ask Vanna to buy another vowel. No, I don't have to put up with that. I am Bullhorn Betty. Did I mention I'm a world famous YouTuber? Yes, I called the FBI on him. No, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. Don't you know who I am? I am having an event here. I organized this event, and it's for oh God, what is that fucking thing, that mantra she does at the start of every live stream? We're covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, a missing 15-year-old boy from Hendersonville, Tennessee, who was last seen by his blah, 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 blah. Well, some of these haters from these Roach channels, they are out here in this parking lot filming me. They are stealing my content. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, ma'am. Yeah, we'll be right out. Stand by, please. What was your name again, ma'am? Bull Skank Betty. Oh, no, ma'am. No. I need your real name. Is that a pseudonym? You're a journalist, aren't you? Is that a nom de plume? A what? I barely speak English. You think I know what French is? What do you want? You want my name? My name is... Hold on, ma'am. Please stand by for a moment. Date of birth, please. Oh. Can you hold one moment, please, Miss Griffin? Hey, Jerry. Who's doing wants and warrants right now? Do we have somebody out already in the area? Yeah. We've got this world famous YouTuber. She just called in and wants someone to come out because a quote hater roach channel is filming her in the parking lot of Michaela's Mutts. Or I'm sorry, a brewery, whatever the brewery's name is. Yeah. Well, get this. God, this one is definitely, she is not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, Jerry. Yeah, she called in and when she, of course, like with everybody, Jerry, it came up that she's got 2 warrants issued out of Sumner County for it's either failure to appear or violating the terms of 3 protective orders. I'm not quite clear on which one it is yet, but be that as it may, she does have 2 warrants. So I'm just trying to make everybody's life a little easier here, and apparently this dumb bitch is too. So do you want me to tell her to stand by? Well, I'll come up with some. Yes, I'll come up with something plausible. Don't worry. Okay, you're on. You'll be there within the hour. Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, Ms. Bullhorn. You know what? I talked to dispatch, and it just so happens that we have a deputy in the area, and he will be coming out to speak with you regarding the illegal filming that you are alleging of you standing outside of a public parking lot. Is that correct? Or the parking lot of a restaurant that is open to the general public. Yes, that's correct. Okay, Ms. Bullhorn, they're on the way. Can you imagine? Now, I don't know that that's how it went down, but word on the street is she could have actually gotten herself picked up because she's so fucking dumb and delusional. I don't know that she even knew, even though she should have, I don't know that she even knew she had warrants. God, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Hey, Jerry, how are you? Hazel Eyes, how you doing? Cinnamon hot. Happy Sunday. Okay, you guys, let me pull up the community post, and then I am going to run and nuke my coffee. All right, let's see here. YouTube. What is that bitch's name? Oh, fuck that little bitch, Crimes and Fashion. I hate her. She rides my ass like a running mule. Okay, let's see. View channel. Oh, post. Oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to put this up. And it's Betty's first mugshot of the weekend in the orange. But what I want you guys to read is the text. So let me share that. Okay. I'm going to share this. I'm going to mute. Can y'all see it? I might be able to blow it up a little bit. Although I think if I do that, I think it'll make it too big. Is it readable? Oh, Catherine. The ones I'm wearing. Hold on, let me put a second pair of glasses on to see what kind of glasses the first pair are. I think. Oh, whoever they are, it's very pretty. The brand that I can't read. Oh my gosh, it starts with an L and it's exactly the way I signed my name. You know, I want to say I actually got the ones that I had on. Those came from Amazon. Just put in, Catherine, if you email me, I'll look on my Amazon and I will give you the exact link. Okay. Let me mute and I will be right back. Okay. Oh, so how long do we think it's going to be before Betty gives us a good rage stream? And do we think she's learned her lesson? I do not. I don't think for 1 minute she's learned anything. I think that the dumbass idiots like Walter Mercado, also known as Justin for All or Clutch Them Pearls, people like him. Because I heard somebody saying something about him, and it seems very true. Apparently, he is so fucking caught up in YouTube that his only mission is to try and be to stay right, like to, most people have allegiance or they're friends with other creators to varying degrees. He seems to be one of those people who's so fucking worried about appearing to be on the wrong side of something. Although when you're talking about Betty, how could you be on the wrong side? She's a degenerate bag of shit. She's a fucking morally bankrupt, appears to be very mentally troubled. I mean, just look at what she has done in this case. I mean, I don't know about you, but there's not enough $50 super chats to make me say and do the things that she says and does. But in an effort to not offend anybody or to not have anybody mad at you, because oh my God, God forbid, you might lose a sub. Who fucking cares? I mean, that is one of the benefits of keeping all of this in perspective. You can say what you want. I mean, trust me, I have lost subs when I've come out against something or in support of something that somebody doesn't like and they unsubscribe. Oh, well, who cares? I mean, that's the name of the game. If you're going to constantly, I mean, the woman was dragging the shit out of him the day before. But then all this happens and it's kind of like, is he going to martyr her too, along with some of these other idiots? Betty is a victim of Betty. Betty is a victim of her childish, immature, troubled mentality. She's a fucking nobody. I do not give a good goddamn how many subs she has. Nobody in the real world gives her the slightest bit of attention. For all the reasons I've already stated, she's unaccomplished at anything. More importantly, she is a raging bitch. I mean, instead of getting a job, apparently she thinks suing people is a job. Betty, far smarter, better, more attractive people than you have tried that. And, you know, it works for a while for some to varying degrees. But, I mean, does Betty strike you as a happy person? For her and people like her to whatever degree, they get on here and they get the attention that nobody's ever given them before, because why would they? In the real world, like I would do anything to stay as far away from her as possible. Because in the real world, I mean, I guess you can go around claiming to be all these things. Well, here's an example. Betty calls herself a journalist. Do you think for one hot second she could walk her ass into any, whether it's a newspaper, an online outlet, a legit media outlet, in whatever? I'm talking all the way from her local yokel, you know, paper they throw, whether you want it or not. Like it's literally confined to like not even a zip code. Maybe let's just say one zip code, just the smallest media outlet there is, to anything on any kind of online outlet of whatever size, all the way up to the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, yada, yada, yada. In the real world, you do not get to send in your job application, but what, like, she couldn't even do that. You don't get to call yourself a fucking journalist when you, I was going to say, don't even have a journalism degree. Nowadays, I don't know if you have to have a journalism degree per se. But what I do know, even if you don't have to have a journalism degree, you have to be fluent in the fucking King's English. You have to know how to write in the King's English. Grammar, usage, punctuation. The bitch has never met a piece of punctuation aside from an exclamation point. Okay? I mean, people lose perspective. This is, YouTube, be all that you pretend to be. And that is not the same thing as trying to maintain a semblance of a private life. I mean, there's a reason that this, whatever happens here, it does not cross the threshold of my office. When I'm done, I'm done. But I also don't run around claiming I'm all these things that I could not fucking possibly be. She is not a journalist. You don't just get to call yourself a journalist when, and as far as being the grammar police, because yes, I have heard that. Like, when are you the grammar police? Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. And I just like, well, unlike Betty, I am a deputy with a badge. I am a lifelong deputized member of the grammar police. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And if you don't need to worry that I'm ever going to grammar police you if you don't act like Betty. I'm not sitting in this chair dragging for filth a nice person. No, I'm not. And I will use, I'm sorry, you want to call yourself a journalist and a member of the media? I'm calling bullshit. And all the other things that she says she is. Betty, you are not a fucking victim's advocate. You are a victimizer. And how come you don't, why don't you have a job for, I don't know, anything for anyone, much less an attorney? You love the children so much. How come you're not a foster parent? Or, I don't know, how about a guardian ad litem? Why don't you do any of those things? Oh, yeah, because they wouldn't give you the fucking time of day. Yeah. Because like I said, you're used to being the victimizer. Look what you've done to the Proudfoots and the Bowersocks. And you'll do it to Seth. Yes, you will. And he better buckle up, Buttercup. And Tony, too, because it'll be coming their way. But yeah, I would be utterly embarrassed to be cheerleading for Betty and trying to meet busted up martyr wannabe Barbie. But, there's this unfortunate bitch, you're not even Skipper. Okay. Barbie's unfortunate, lesser cousin. Skipper always got the cast off clothes, the cast off shoes. I don't know. Maybe one of Ken's friends banged her when they went out to happy hour, kind of like JLR, you say, banged you. I'd call that like a pity fuck or maybe a mercy fuck. Or a grudge fuck. I don't know. But you should have been thankful for it because I can't imagine you get too many of those offers. But sorry, I'll use what she provides for material. And I just can't imagine like trying to hold her out as some kind of fucking martyr. Like she did it for the cause. The hell she did it for her fucking non-existent bank balance. Okay. And I don't know how dumb you people have to be giving her money. Give her all your money. I don't give a fuck because I don't ask you for your money. That bitch has to have a telethon if she needs toothpaste. Yeah, I don't have to do that. But like I just can't imagine. Like what do you have, the IQ of a fucking houseplant? Sorry, houseplants. I mean, yeah, that is a good point. Their IQ is probably higher than Betty's typical follower. And, sorry, like I hate to make, what was that Betty used to say? I hate to paint with a broad brush. Well, if we're painting your ass, you better get a broad brush out. Wow. Betty's 5'2" and 165 pounds. And yeah, I'll fat shame her if I want to fat shame her. You don't see me fat shaming a nice person. I don't come in here and say, hey, ladies, if you weigh between this and this, you're fat. No, I would never do that. When you want to be this person and you use it as like that's part of her grift. I'm badass Betty. I'm the baddest bitch on YouTube. You're the dumbest bitch on YouTube. I know that. I don't know. I guess there might be others that are dumber. Oh, I pity them. But I've said it 1,000 times. If you want to be this person that she wants to be, going and fucking terrorizing people in their own homes, essentially. I mean, the list of traumatized people she has left in her wake. Like, I'm sorry, that's not normal. None of what she does is normal. So if you want to be this outrageous person, well, own it and buck up and quit crying like a little bitch. Every time someone brings it to your attention that you're a shitbag. I mean, you got to get thicker skin. And if your skin's anything like your hair, well, it's it's brittle and almost see-through. That was what did y'all think about the jail? What did I call that? The hell did I call that? Were you all able to read that? I didn't either. Oh my God, Catherine, come to think of it. Obviously, that the heaviest I ever was in my life was when I was pregnant. I have been 4'11 and a quarter. Yes, all really short people know, kind of like Betty knows within 1/8 of a centimeter where the public easement ends and your driveway stops. Well, when you're a little teeny short person, you know to the quarter of an inch how tall you are. So I have been 4'11 and a quarter since 3rd grade. Actually, I think I stopped growing. I remember when I was in middle school, my mom took me to an endocrinologist and they did all these measurements and they x-rayed my wrist and they could tell that the growth plates were closed and I was done growing. So I stopped growing in middle school. I always looked like I was several years younger than I actually was, kind of like now. Back then it was just due to my height and now it's due to modern science, and clean living. But I was 4'11 and a quarter when I was 9 months pregnant. I remember I gained, and this is why I remember it, 39 pounds with my son. And I was back then, my weight was probably 100 would have been the top of my weight back then. I was typically about 95 pounds. And now I go anywhere between 100 and 105. So, yeah, Betty, 165 pounds at 5'2". That's, I don't consider that to be a little, I've heard her refer to herself as all kinds of delusional things that she's not. But yeah, like I'm not for 1 minute am I going to sit in this chair and apologize for anything, because she deserves every bit of fucking public ridicule that comes to her, because that's what she begs for. It's what she wants. You don't run around doing these things if you don't want that. And unfortunately for her, based off of, I only go by my life experience. That's all I can do. And I'm still attempting to come up with a circumstance where I could picture my mother being a mod on my YouTube channel, trolling on YouTube. Should we share that? I think everybody's seen it by now, but yeah. I got a screenshot of old rusty kettle. Well, my goodness, sometimes there is truth in advertising. And if I had to bet, I bet there's a real good reason you chose the name Old Rusty Kettle. Yeah, I wouldn't call myself old. I wouldn't call myself rusty. And no, not a kettle. If we have to stick with kitchen implements, No, I guess maybe a champagne flute or something like that. Not a rusty anything, and definitely not a frying pan or anything like that. I mean, Betty looks like she's been hit in the face with a frying pan a lot of the times I see her. But yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, I there's no circumstance in this world where I could imagine. My mother's too busy, traveling the globe. She doesn't have time to troll in YouTube. She wouldn't even know. She would think I was talking about the dolls with the hair. That's what she would think I was talking about. And I like it that way. Yeah, I don't need my mommy to come and play referee in YouTube, my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's a little strange. But unfortunately, one of the many differences between me and old Bets. Yeah, okay, you want me to share it? I will do that. I already emailed it to myself, so that won't be a problem. Let me just pull that up. But uh, I don't think that it's kind of looking like, and I'm going to base. I mean, I've always had this opinion, but I have always tried to extend some courtesy to. I've never spoken on Betty's mom, and I'm not going to start now. But it certainly uh, lent some credence to my theories on perhaps the busted up, perhaps the bull scorn, bull skank doesn't fall far from the rusty kettle tree. Yeah. And when I got a couple of these screenshots, I thought, well, my goodness, that does kind of confirm what I've always known. Let's see. Please tell me I did not. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to email it to myself again rather than look for it in my email, because I think it probably went someplace I didn't want it to go. But yeah, it's unfortunate that Betty. Oh my God, that fucking t-shirt. Not Crimes and Fashion approved. All right. I have found the second one. I just want to see if I still have the first one. Well, we'll just say in the first one that I'm not. I was sent, Crazy Nurse sent me 2 screenshots of an interaction that she had with Bull Skank's mother, old Rusty Kettle. And yeah, the first one that I can't find, she told her that she better be careful what she said about Betty. Fuck her. That's what I have to say. And the next one, in my opinion, equally bullshit. But this one was a little more lengthy. It's like, God, lady, isn't there a fucking a bingo hall and a carton of Salem menthols waiting for you somewhere? Wouldn't that be more entertaining than trying to white knight for your fucking bag of shit daughter? I mean, I would think there would be. I would think there would be better uses of an old lady's time. I'm sorry. I should have said older lady's time. Pardon me. That was an unintentional. I don't know. I'm just kind of that way. Just as, trying to be a decent person, maintain a little bit of dignity and class about myself. I try and not be. I try and extend a little bit of courtesy, even to people who don't deserve it. But all right. Let's see here. I need to make this bigger. Why is that? Okay. Okay. Now we're going to share. Okay. And apparently, still crazy after all these years, was making the observation that Betty's mommy, or that Betty appears, I don't know which is which. Does Betty appear to be just like her mommy, or does her mommy appear to be just like her? And yes, I know they sound the same, but in my mind, there is a slight distinction between the two. And I mean, look who we're talking about. Does it really matter? No, not really. So, and I very much agree with this observation. One is definitely just like the other. And this was the response. Oh, Rusty Kettle. I am not going to try and correct you. ... Was that supposed to be an ellipsis or a period? If it was an ellipsis, you're a couple periods short of an ellipsis. I'm assuming it was a period, but I am going to give you high marks for not using, like your daughter, excessive exclamation points. So good for you. You have no idea what is going on. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon. You have no idea what is going on! Exclamation point. You think you have a complete picture, but you don't. Well, maybe that is due to your daughter being fucking capable of putting the YouTube down. So whatever opinions we may or may not have, well, they're just based on her very strange behavior on YouTube. And by strange, I mean, a very immature, poorly spoken, angry AF, nutty ass bitch who thinks she's got all these jobs. Ma'am, your daughter does not have one fucking job. Never mind 3, 4, 12, all the things that Betty is only in her mind. And, maybe you should, maybe instead of fueling your daughter's fucking delusions, have you perhaps tried to help her? And maybe the woman has, I don't know, but I know what myself and many other very normal sounding and behaving people have opined that their mother would do. Were they displaying the kind of behavior that your daughter is displaying? And I know what I'd do if my son was doing this. I would do everything in my power, and there's a whole lot that can be done, or at least you can attempt to do, to get someone help. But I would think, at the very minimum, something you could very easily do would be, I don't know, don't enable her. I don't know. Maybe you're the same kind of person as her. Maybe she learned how to be who she is by watching you. I don't know. I don't know a thing about you. I don't want to know a thing about you. The only thing I know is that you apparently have, much like your daughter, a lot of time on your hands and enjoy playing on YouTube. Yeah. But yeah, that's the very least you could do to try and help your daughter, who maybe you can't see it, but she doesn't appear to be very well. She has had a drastic physical change, not for the better. I mean, God dang, if she's 165 now, I mean, I don't know what she was when she showed up on the scene, but, I'm sure it's just from Ozempic or I don't know, maybe special coffee that's maybe not coffee. I don't know. But she doesn't look well, and she definitely doesn't sound well. I mean, she is sitting in her bed, rage streaming days at a time, all hours of the day and night going live with a fucking paper, what looks like a paper gynecological sheet hanging on her window as some kind of makeshift curtain, I guess. I don't know, for her green screen, I'm sure. Looking like she hasn't showered in days. I mean, I don't know. I just can't imagine enabling and or co-signing that kind of insanity with my child. I don't know anybody who would. It's one. Yeah. Oh, yes. In her underwear. How could I forget that? It's one thing to not make an effort to get your child help, no matter how old your child is. Your child's your child. It's one thing to not make any overt moves or measures to get help for your child. That's one thing. And, I guess there's all kinds of reasons that people could have for that. But it's quite another thing to actively participate in your child being a degenerate shitbag. I mean, do you actually think that all these people on YouTube, on TikTok, at the Manatee County Board of County Commissioners meetings even, do you really think all these people are wrong and that your daughter is some kind of a victim? She is not. She is a victimizer. So, yeah, it's there's a whole there's a whole area in the middle from, well, I did the best I could. It's not my problem anymore, because there's plenty of people like that. But yeah, so doing nothing, but to actually be abetting her in this is, let's just say that it very much confirms for me all the things I've always felt like I've known about what turned her into who she is. Because I'm personally of the opinion that I think Betty is equal parts nurture, nature. I think she is inherently a spiteful, hateful, nasty malcontent. And I think she's like that. And of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing her. And I'm especially not telling anyone else how they should feel. They should draw their own conclusions. And this is all just wild speculation on my part. But I think that she is all those things because her self-esteem is in the toilet. And, for that, that's unfortunate. But there's lots of people suffer with low self-esteem. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that Betty has zero care about the outward. And much like I just said, there's a fine line. There's a whole big wide world between doing nothing to try and help and abetting in the bad behavior, there's also a big wide space in between not giving one single fuck about your appearance and, being me. And I don't think it's because, oh, she's just really confident and she doesn't have time. She's very busy doing nothing except terrorizing people. No. She doesn't care because she doesn't fucking care about herself. And it makes the case for, looks a little delusional when you appear. Betty is not a serious person. How do you expect anyone to take you seriously when you look the way she looks? And the hair, I mean, it is comedy gold. However, it to me, it really does speak to a much more serious problem. Because most people who are lucid and have their shit together, they're not, finding themselves, unfortunately, being homeless and not having access to, regular showering and even a fucking blow dryer, even a brush, never mind a blow dryer. Don't blow dry that hair, Betty. Like you hold yourself out as of some of the most serious professions people can be in. A victim's rights. Is she an advocate or an activist? Well, she's fucking none of them, but what does she say she is? Oh, who fucking cares? Okay, so she's a victim's rights activist. A child advocate? Excuse me, come again? Do you think any legit organization, whether it's in law enforcement or like a private organization, an organization that contracts with law enforcement to, because there are court appointed victims advocates. They will actually stay with the victims of crime through their entire case, from the minute the crime is reported to whatever the final disposition is. They will go to court with you. They will speak on your behalf, etc. You tell me what organization of that type, whether we're talking children or adults, would see that hot bag of mess walk into their office. Hi, I'm Bullhorn Betty. And I'm a journalist. I'm a victims' rights activist. More importantly, I'm a child advocate because, I'm here to save all the children that I really don't give a shit about. I'm just smart enough and, scam minded enough to know that, kids and animals, they really, they tug on the heartstrings. Not that I have one, but, that's what they tell me. Yeah. Do we really fucking think? I mean, I'm asking anybody in the chat. Anybody listening, I don't care what your profession is, whether you work for yourself, whether you work for someone else, whether you're a cashier in a grocery store, whether you're a fucking, how about a plastic surgeon, and everything in between, no matter what it is you do. What would you think if Betty rolled into your place of business and wanted a job? Your Honor, the prosecution rests. Defense? No. Ma'am! Sit down! Denied! I don't care who you say you are online. This is my courtroom. Sit down and shut the hell up, bitch. I mean, it defies logic. I feel sorry for you if you are a follower of her, because obviously you are lighting the way in the same dimly lit chandelier that her bulb is in. Yeah. It's going to take like a whole football stadium full of you all to do what my living room chandelier can do. So keep working at it. I mean, it's like, it's one thing, I used to tell Ernie Shell back in the day that had he made some different choices in life, he would have been a class A televangelist of the grifter variety. The prosperity doctrine, that would have been Ernie's jam. And he would have been fantastic at it because he knows he's charismatic as hell. I think he's also quite troubled. But that seems to be a running theme with a lot of these. But Betty is not charismatic. So think about that. Think about, no matter what you think about Ernie Shell. But think about that. You look at what Ernie Shell gives people. And I know he's had a few auctions where he didn't cough up the goods, but what the hell? What's a damn Crocodile Dundee hat between friends? I mean, get over it. But you know what I'm saying? At least Ernie, when he's reaching into your damn wallet or whatever, I ain't going there. He kind of like I try to, at least my way of thanking you for coming and hanging out here and sharing 1 minute of your time with me to listen to anything I have to say. Well, I feel like I owe you something. So I don't know. I try and put on a happy face, or at least this is my happy place. Guess what? I don't come in here when I'm not happy, because unlike Betty, I'm not here to spread my fucking misery to all of you and try and mess your day up. No, I want to make you laugh. I feel like that's just what I like to do. I don't even have to try. But I want to entertain you. I want to give you something, because look, there are so many channels on here, and there's some fantastic people. And then there's the people like Betty and the Ernies. But at least Ernie is entertaining and charismatic. And I will say the same for Molly Golightly. I can't stand her. I think she's fucking classless. But that's some of what makes her funny. Is she is that person who will say that shit that you're like, what the hell did she just say? What exactly does Betty give besides misplaced rage, anger? I mean, it blows my mind. Yeah, Ernie, you missed that televangelist thing. I mean, and Molly, listen, I never watched Molly very much. I'd see her on the clip channels, but I will absolutely admit she can be very entertaining. Yes, she can, because she strikes me as that person, and she's probably been like this since she was a kid. I always kind of felt like, I know she's got siblings, and typically when there's multiple children in the house, there's usually one who figures out how to get the attention on them. And I would imagine Molly has probably, been entertaining since she was a little kid. I just can't watch her because, number one, I can't stand her accent. And number two, I know she was right there with Betty, and the fucking hooves on the ground. Listen, I've said several times, one of the funniest, I laughed so hard when she was in front of the CPS office wearing that damn neon orange, like, I think it wasn't like her Lululemon fucking hefty bag sausage casing jacket. But it was something tight. And she was just like up and down the sidewalk, just screaming her ass off. And it was hilarious. But you know, like the thing the other night with Dolly and PJ, that was just, see, that's the kind of shit that turns me all the way off. It even if I didn't know about all her fucking bleh, some of the gross shit she's done, like that I just, that is, to me, that is not entertaining. It's not gross. It's not, no, it is gross. It's not entertaining. It's not funny. It's just classless. It's just, ugh, gross. I cannot imagine going to meet another YouTuber who's got his girlfriend there, and you look at him and ask him what bull skank Betty's hoo-ha smells like. Of course, she didn't say hoo-ha. I mean, as a woman, I was just sitting there like, wow. I may swear like a sailor, but I try very hard not to. Well, no, I don't. I know my husband would. No, my husband would not find that amusing, and yeah, maybe hers does, but mine would not. I wouldn't do it, but if I did, it would only happen once. But I think y'all know it would never happen with me. Nope, don't do that. So, yes, it was really gross. And I felt badly for PJ because it just, and you know, let's face it, I'm sure that was by design. And it was, if it wasn't meant to put her on the spot, well, she certainly should have been able to figure out that even if that was not the intention, that would definitely happen. So, hey, Beet Juice, listen, Molly makes a lot of people laugh. She's just not my cup of tea. She's made me laugh, but she's just, no. And you know what? If I didn't know about all the other shit that went before, you know, things like the thing in the restaurant. I mean, I'm somebody who could sit back and go, oh God, that was gross. I can't believe she said that. But that in and of itself, did I not know about the other things? That would not be something that would make me say, oh yeah, no, she's not for me. No, I mean, it, once it happened, once a lot of like classless, not funny things like that happen, well then, you know, at some point that's just who that person is. It's not just a one-off. And that's why I don't watch her. I don't go to her channel. I don't even watch her on Kool-Aid. Like, I know she's been reviewing Betty. I haven't watched because like I said, I don't, she's not my cup of tea. Oh, I wanted to say hello to somebody that looked like they were new. Where did that name go? Hey, Purple Haze, how are you? Beet Juice. I think Beet Juice is new. Yes, wow, that's another thing I don't like. She seems to think like, Molly, I hate to break it to you here, but well, typically people who have money, they don't need to tell you they have money. Those are usually the people who don't have money. I can promise you, if you think you've got like the I'm trying to put this in a diplomatic way. I can assure you there is nothing that you have that I do not currently have or have not had in the past, and won't have in the future should I want it. I do not define someone's worth by what's in the garage, what's in the closet. I have never done a closet tour. I've never done a garage tour. I've never shown my home, and I never will. And there's nothing wrong with having those things, but she seems to think that I think she really thinks that she is far superior to a lot of people in this hood, and you know, and not for reasons of, you know, intellect um, professional experience, etc. Not for those kinds of reasons, but like because she shows you her purse and then tries to, it just seems to me like she's one of those people. I mean, for me personally, I think that's gross. I think it's I don't need to prove that I'm not, I don't need to prove myself by showing you what I have in my closet. I don't care what you have in your closet. And when I say you, I'm not speaking to her. I mean anybody. I that matters not at all to me. And I think she's way too, and listen, I buy shit that's I shouldn't, because it's I just don't like the way that she seems to think that it makes her better than somebody who doesn't have those things. I do not I do not I don't do that, and I don't agree with that. So that's another reason I came from a home where you did not talk about money. It wasn't polite, and you didn't do it. I didn't even know what my own father made. Like it wasn't, it just wasn't anything. I mean, of course, as we were adults, but no. And I just remember, like, I knew from an early age, you don't like you don't go over to your little friend's house and ask what this cost and that cost. And oh, hold on a minute. I need to ask Mr. Crimes and Fashion something. Okay, sorry, Mr. Crimes and Fashion's running up to the grocery store. Okay. Love you. So yeah, there's that. And I had no idea I'd gotten this late. My in-laws are coming at 2. I haven't even made my damn bed. But that's because my husband was still in it when I in fact, he only got up like 30 minutes before maybe about 45 minutes before I came in here. I guess he was up very late last night. So I need to sadly, I'm gonna have to call this little soiree to an end. But don't worry, there's always tomorrow. At least we hope there's always tomorrow. Hi, Bob. And now you too. Okay, I'm wrapping it up. I promise. I know. All right, kids. Well, I would be remiss if I did not bring this to the attention of the chat. I'm gonna pat myself on the back here. I do believe Crimes and Fashion has been predicting for, when did she really start losing her shit? Well, losing her shit more than her baseline, losing her shit. I do believe that I have been saying for at least the last few months that we would have a new mugshot before the end of the year, and ask and you shall receive. Oh, in which case, universe, you know what I've been, you know what I keep going back to in my online shopping? Since we're doing this ask and you shall receive kind of thing, although I would be willing to forego that handbag if I will take one for the team. And if the universe will give Betty, I don't know, 20 years, that sounds good. If the universe will give Betty 20 years in prison, I will scratch that damn handbag right off my list. I will take one for the team. What are you willing to do? I tell you what, I would. Honest to God, I swear to you, I would. Not only would I forego a new bag, I would get in my closet and I would get rid of. I try and have a bring one in, take one out policy. I'm trying. I'm really good at the bringing one in part. It's the getting rid of one that I'm not so great at. But I'm working on it. But I would be willing to. Betty and her oh God, her fucking zoo crew, they'll make you cheap t-shirts. I mean, high class, I'm sure very high quality t-shirts where they disrespect missing children and victims of crime, all for the low price of $25. Yeah, they can do that. I personally, I am willing to cough up a gently used, nice handbag for the cause if the universe will agree to keep Betty where she is. Wouldn't that be nice? But I would say in all reality, well, it's just going to depend on how broke they really are. How quickly can they scrape up $2,000? And, Betty's, cult followers, I wouldn't think it would take that long to cough up $2,000. See, Betty, doesn't it kind of make you wish that you'd saved your alleged mystery benefactor and the $2,500 donation? Wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't it have been better saved for, I don't know, bail? Oh God, silly me. I don't know. I don't have to ask. I don't go to jail, so I don't have to ask people to bail me out. But I would think they could come up with $2,000 rather quickly. The collateral for $20,000, that may prove a bit more problematic. If Betty doesn't have $20,000 worth of equity in her house, I would think that unless she took out a HELOC to finance her empire, she is a woman-owned, female entrepreneurial empire. She is building an empire right from her bed. So let's just see how long it takes her to get out. But if we're going to be realistic, I would say today's Sunday. My guess would be, I mean, I would love to see her spend the rest of her shitty life in there, but we're not going to get that. I would say realistically, she would probably be out possibly today. But reality is, I would guess probably tomorrow. We'll take a wait and see approach. But then the real question becomes, how long will it take her before she violates the order again? I say 37 seconds, because she's essentially an angry 11-year-old who has no self-control and is very entitled. It's funny because I hear people call Betty entitled a lot. And every time I hear that, I start screaming, that bitch is not entitled. Because when I hear the word entitled, and trust and believe, I know some entitled people. And I myself can be a bit entitled. I just don't do it here on, I don't do it on YouTube. I'm talking, I can expect things that, I probably shouldn't. But old habits die hard. I don't know what to tell you. But when I hear her, or when I hear people referring to her as entitled, she is just not what I picture in my head or what I've ever known as entitled. No, she would be bringing the coffee to the entitled person. That's what I think when I hear somebody say Betty's entitled. But I know that term means a lot. That term is now much more broad and encompassing than than the definition I am used to applying to entitled. I don't know who these people are that think Betty comes from an upper middle class background. I say no. Middle class? Yes, I guess so. I definitely always take issue with the upper middle class. There's nothing. The words upper and class and middle are not words I would ever associate with Betty. But that's just me. And I get it. It's all relative. But I do know that she likes to act like, I just know this. I know that I've never seen Betty at any event where those types of people tend to go. I only speak from my own experience, I guess. So I don't know. It always puzzles me when I hear people say that about her. Oh. Okay, I do need to go though, because the fam dam is on their way over and my bed's not even made. But fortunately, the rest of my house is okay. So, all right, kids. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on number one on a Sunday. And when there is everybody and their brother is live right now, and there's, you have a lot of choices on where to go. So I appreciate you. Hello to anybody that came in when I was blah, 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 and I did not say hello. If you are new, welcome. I try and say hi to everybody individually. Sometimes I just can't do it. And thank you all. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you. And I'm saying let's count on tomorrow. I'm hoping. There are some things in my real life that could possibly throw a wrench into that. But as I'm here right now, let's say that I'm going to the store. Damn it. I'll ask Mr. Crimes and Fashion to get it for me. That bottle of champagne? Yes. And I'm going to get it chilled. And tomorrow, I'm going to pop a bottle and I'm going to raise a glass to Betty and thank her for giving me the excuse to go buy it. All right, kids, have a great weekend. It's probably going to be a lot better than Betty's no matter what you do. So until we meet again, have a good day, pussycats. All right.